theoretically with the ECU and that idler pulley, it should physically run. I want to get my exhaust done, and then after that it's just the ECU. Obviously still need to mock an exhaust up and stuff like that, but apart from that, I think it should just be the ECU. So, as the title suggests, we're pulling the Civic out of hibernation. So, been a bit of a running joke on the channel that the Civic's done and all I need is ECU, and then we keep finding more things on why the Civic's not done and getting through them and still not getting ECU. If you have a look at the engine bay now, you'll find it very hard to see anything that's missing. Me personally, I think that looks like a complete K-swap. So all we need is the ECU. So this is the new ECU for the K-swap. It's a Honda Kpro V4. I was chopping and changing my mind quite a lot through the process of buying an ECU, looking at things like the Kpro V4, the Haltech Elite ECU. The reason I went for this one, firstly, because it was used and cheap.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, so this was about half the price of a typical brand new Kpro. A lot of people tell me to go for the Haltech ECU, which is a standalone system. It's a lot newer technology, but one, it's not really had time to be tried and tested. Two, I just feel like this will be a lot easier on the installation side. There's a lot of videos on how to install them, stuff like that. So yeah, we've got a Honda Kpro V4. Basically what it is it's just a bog standard EP3 ECU with a piggyback chipboard in there, so you can map it and stuff like that. So yeah, we've got the ECU. I wish I could say, let's go and plug it in and start the car, but that's not the case. It's actually got a map on it already for K24, but we are going to send it off to get base maps. And then yeah, should be plug and play. I don't know if it would run with the map that's on there at the minute. It's mapped for a K24 Frank with different injectors, different manifold. So I don't know if I plug this in now, if it'll start the car. But that brings me on to the fact that even if it had a base map or the correct map for the car's finished. How do I say it, bro?
It's assembled. I wouldn't say it's finished.
Yeah, so there's a few things. So I compiled a bit of a list actually. There's a few things that I just need to go back over and check. There's nothing else we need to buy, don't worry. So we'll start working from the ECU back. So the first thing that I need to do, I was trying to think of a better word to make it sound like I've already done it and it just needs tidying up, but I've not done it. So first thing it needs doing is the conversion harness. Obviously that's what plugs into the ECU along with the engine loom. So there's a few wires that we need to splice and dice. We need to plug the conversion harness into the body loom and then splice it all up, plug it into the ECU. Then the charge harness. So the engine harness is actually plug and play, obviously. It's come off an EP3. Engine harness all plugs in. The charge harness is also off an EP3. All plugged in again. The only difference being these two little spade connectors that you can see here. Basically, I need to trim that down. I've already trimmed this one down. And they're just going to be located in the fuse box under here. It's just literally a case of cutting them down and fitting them there. Finding out which one's the alternator, which one's the start wire. And locating them appropriately. After the charge harness and the conversion harness is all wired up, then we also need to wire in the fan switch and the coolant temp sensor. I've currently got the temp sensor in the thermostat and I've not got a fan switch anywhere, so I do need some help with that. I need some kind of advice where to put it. Something, just help me please.
A real mechanic.
Yeah, real mechanic, step in please.
Step forward.
Nah, it's the electrics. The electrics is the mushy peas on my plate, innit? Like, that's the bit that I don't want to do.
The mushy peas.
We've fitted the earth cable to the battery, fitted a few various earth cables around the engine bay. So I've got one going to the gearbox here, one going, that's going to probably go to the manifold there, and then there should be another one onto the rocker cover somewhere. I don't know where that earth wire's gone. After all the earth cables are installed, that finishes off the wiring section. So, what'd you say?
Realistically, not a lot of wiring.
10 minutes job. Something like that.
Bro, anytime you say 10-minute job, yeah.
Yeah, now honestly, I've been putting the wiring off, putting it off, mainly because I'm not a DCU, but I don't think it would be too difficult. There's plenty of videos. We can't mess it up too bad. So
don't say we.
You're in on this now.
Yeah,
you've done some detrimental parts on this build.
You're just blaming me for anything that goes wrong. Like when
anything's wrong on this build, you're
as
as responsible as me, bro. You're as responsible. So once all the wiring's done, I did previously mention that the ECU that I bought was previously mapped for a K24 Frank engine. Obviously, we're going to get a new base map and then a new map altogether anyway, but what I noticed on that engine made 270 brake, and they was using the RBC intake manifold and the RDX injectors. So my plan is to get them bits, RBC intake, which is going to take care of this coolant jacket here. It's going to blank that off. You can just see where there's a hole. That's the only part of the whole engine bay that looks incomplete in it, really. So yeah, going to get the RBC manifold, RDX injectors. Once that's done, just also need to go over the actual fuel system itself. Obviously all the AL lines that I've bought, I think they're supposed to have O-rings somewhere. The O-rings are currently in a Ziploc bag inside the car, so they need putting on. Underneath, obviously we're not going to do these jobs in the order that I'm saying them. Underneath the intake manifold is also quite a bit of work that needs doing. If you remember in the last video we did on the Civic, I installed the swivel neck thermostat. That still needs blanking off, and there's also a bolt missing there, so we need to put that in. Blank the thermostat off. Still need to work out a solution for the bottom radiator hose, which isn't going to be too difficult. I actually found the radiator hoses off the original D series, and I think I'm going to make them work if they're the right diameter. So yeah, once the thermostat's blanked and the bottom radiator hose done, that's fueling, wiring and coolant sorted. Then it's just a case of kind of going over things. So this engine mount here, typically on case swaps that you'll see, rather than having two bolts going down into the mount, one side will have a stud coming up and a nut going over the top to fasten it down. So I want to do that. Another thing that needs checking over is the intermediate shaft on the back of the engine. That's missing a bolt, so we need to put a bolt in there. Need to fit this. I think I mentioned it in the last video. That's been there before the engine was in there. So
What's that?
So that's a cable organiser for the shifter cables. You have to adjust. So if you look at the back of the engine bay here, you see
the
this
cable organiser for the rest of the cables in it, bro.
Bro, yeah, I did want to do that, to be fair. I want to strip
it
down
up.
all the loom and redo it, yeah.
Strip what? Strip down what?
The loom?
Nah.
That's after it's running though. But yeah, if you look at that hole
You're
at the
longing
back,
out my life, you, bro.
if you look at the hole at the back there, that's where the heater matrix was. We've obviously now got the shifter cables coming in there. So what this is basically, it's just going to organise them shifter cables so they're not rubbing against each other.
Pause.
That's not a pause, bro.
Rubbing against each other.
And after that, we move to underneath the car. There's a couple of jobs under there. So there's the flywheel cover that we need to install. We need to fit the crank sensor properly. And then the final piece of the puzzle that we've not bought yet, but it doesn't matter because the car will run without it, is an exhaust. Still not sure if I'm going to go custom or what, but
I think you should go custom. A good quality custom, not a cheap quality custom like what
yeah,
you
but
like
second-hand custom's cheaper.
This guy was telling me he found an exhaust with a hole in it and he wants to buy it.
Yeah, why not?
Why?
It's a budget
And
build.
It is a budget build. I don't need to buy an
So
exhaust
I'm
with a
going to
hole in it.
spend $5 to $1,000 on an exhaust when I've not spent that on anywhere else on the car.
Exhaust is important. We want it to sound nice.
I'm not paying the same as I pay for the engine for an exhaust. It's a Civic. It's not going to sound nice.
That's true. At least you can admit that.
Yeah. So, after that, from my... That should be it.
You heard it here.
That should be it. And then, so what my plan is, the next video that you see on the Civic, we'll be tackling all them jobs in one video. So, this should be the penultimate video to the car starting. The next video on the Civic should be first start video. Or attempt first start video. Might not start, but we're going to turn it over. Innit?
It'll start.
I don't
Ye have faith.
think it'll start. I don't think it'll start.
I think if you didn't build it, it would start.
I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything. If anything goes wrong in this car, yeah, it's going to be the clutch, which you installed.
No.
Yeah. What else have you installed on here? What else have you done, bro?
What else have I done?
Yeah.
Overseeing proceedings.
Yeah, so if any bolts are loose, this guy's an overseer, so after months of false promises and tricking myself into believing it myself as well, the next video should actually be the first start. So if you're looking forward to seeing that, then make sure you subscribe to this channel. Turn on post notifications as well, because I'm an impulsive guy, so we might just start up on a random Thursday. You know what I mean? Turn on post notifications, you never know what's going to happen. Also, make sure you're following all the Gaining Traction social medias, because we post on there throughout the week when we're not posting on YouTube. What are you saying? Before the end of Jan, Civic's on the road.
Fingers crossed.
Hopefully, before the end of Jan, Civic's on the road. Hopefully we'll get the E36 fixed back up, because that's... Is that not... What? No, we've hopefully before the end of Jan, the Civic will be on the road, or at least started.
It's gonna have to carry the torch for the
It's gonna
channel.
have to do something because don't know if the E36 is sticking around now. It's
We're gonna have to get on Marketplace and see what other sheds we can find.
Yeah, it might be new car time. So, yeah, the old faithful should be on the road shortly.
Catch you in the next one.